The city moved in a blur of glass and light as the car slowed at the crosswalk, and in that single suspended moment, everything the billionaire believed about his life fractured. He had built empires from steel and silence, measured time in market openings and closings, and believed the past stayed buried if you buried it deep enough. Then he saw her. She crossed the street with winter air clinging to her coat, a woman he once loved carrying 2 sleeping infants against her chest, and the world he controlled slipped from his hands like sand. Before the story carries you any further, pause for a heartbeat. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the idea that love can find its way back even after loss, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are quietly waiting. He sat rigid in the passenger seat as the light remained red, his fiancée beside him unaware, her reflection sharp in the window. The billionaire had spent years crafting a future that gleamed, one that erased the shadows of old mistakes. He remembered leaving the woman at the crosswalk behind in another lifetime, convincing himself that ambition required sacrifice, that love could be postponed. He remembered choosing boardrooms over late nights, headlines over holding hands, and telling himself that she would understand. What he never allowed himself to imagine was this moment, where understanding stood wrapped in wool, carrying twins he had never known existed. The woman moved steadily, her steps careful, protective, as if the world were fragile and she carried its most precious pieces. The baby slept with the soft weight of trust, their hats pulled low, their breaths visible in the cold. The billionaire felt a pressure behind his eyes he had not felt since the day he walked away, the day he told himself he was doing the right thing. Success had followed him relentlessly since then, but peace had not. Watching her now, he realized that the years had shaped her into someone resilient and quiet, someone who had learned to survive without the safety net he could have been. The light changed, but the driver did not move. Traffic hummed impatiently. The fiancée turned, sensing something, her expression tightening as she followed his gaze. In that instant, the billionaire felt the weight of 2 lives he did not know pressing against his chest. He thought of nights spent alone in penthouses, of deals closed with champagne and applause, of the hollow echo that followed every celebration. He had told himself he was happy, that this was what winning looked like. Yet the sight of those twins stirred something raw and unguarded, a longing he had buried beneath contracts and control. As the car rolled forward, the crosswalk emptied, but the image remained burned into him. The day unraveled after that, meetings blurring together, numbers losing meaning. He could not escape the question pounding inside him, the quiet accusation of time wasted and love denied. He thought about responsibility, about the kind of man he had been and the kind he still might become. For the first time, the fortress of wealth felt small, unable to protect him from regret. Change did not arrive with fireworks or declarations. It came with restlessness, with sleepless nights and the courage to look honestly at himself. He learned where she lived through old connections, not to intrude, but to understand the life she had built. He discovered she had worked tirelessly, balancing jobs and motherhood, asking nothing from the men who had left. The realization humbled him. He began to show up quietly in the world again, funding childcare programs anonymously, investing in community spaces, choosing impact over headlines. Each small act felt like a step toward the man he should have been all along. Seasons shifted. The city softened. And one afternoon, chance aligned again, not as shock but as invitation. He saw her at a park, the twins older now, laughter bright and unafraid. He kept his distance, watching as she knelt to steady them, love written in every movement. In that moment, he understood that redemption did not mean reclaiming what was lost, but honoring it. It meant humility, patience, and the willingness to put another's well-being above his own pride. If this story is touching something inside you, if it reminds you of choices made and paths still open, please take a moment near the end of this video to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement tells us these stories matter, and it helps them find people who need them most. The billionaire did not rush the future. He learned to listen, to be present without demands. Over time, trust grew in quiet ways, like light returning after a long winter. He supported from the shadows, respected boundaries, and let love define itself on honest terms. The twins grew with laughter and security, and he learned that true wealth was measured in bedtime stories and steady hands, not balance sheets. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words help build a community of empathy and understanding. In the end, the billionaire discovered that life's greatest crossing is not a street but the distance between who we were and who we choose to become. Standing at that crossing, he learned that courage is not in accumulation, but in accountability, and that sometimes the most meaningful journeys begin when a red light forces us to stop and finally see.